Hey garden friends, I'm Nikki from Proven Winners Direct, and I have 7 more beautiful plants for you for Plant of the Day this week. We offer a new plant at 35% off each day starting at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I am in the gardens. I'm not in the greenhouse. I'm in the garden. I'm going to do my best to try and find any of the Plant of the Day plants that we have planted in our gorgeous signature gardens. I want you to be able to see how it's growing for us. So I'll do my best. Any that we have planted, I can come out here and show you. Obviously, we don't have all of the beautiful plants here, so we'll still be in the greenhouse a bit, but this will give you an opportunity to kind of take a peek around with us as we travel along finding all the pretty plants. So as I mentioned, 7 new plants each day at 12 o'clock on Mondays. You can buy all 7 of the plants at 35% off from noon until 4 Eastern Standard Time. If you like following along, be sure to give us a like and subscribe down below. And to make things even easier for you, we're going to provide a link in the description of this video that will take you to all of the beautiful plants we're about to get into. So let's get to it. Our first plant of the day is the lemon coral sedum, and that's that gorgeous chartreuse green that you're seeing here along the front of the border. This plant is tough as nails. It is heat tolerant, drought tolerant. It can spread up to 14 inches. That's what the tag says, but I'm here to tell you this entire border is going to be completely full of this beautiful green spiky foliage. It's going to fill up this whole border. Gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Super, super easy to grow. It's actually won 14 different awards for being so strong. So it's literally one of those plants that you can set it and forget it. As I mentioned, it's going to fill this in. The tag says it'll spread to 14 inches. I've witnessed it spill over containers far more than that. It is a very vigorous grower. It loves the heat, and so it's really waiting for its time to shine now that the heat has finally hit here in Michigan. Part sun to sun, you really can't hurt it with the sun, so the more it gets, the more it's going to thrive. However, I have seen it very successful in shade too. So it's all around easy, beautiful, gorgeous plant. Our next plant of the day is the Supertunia Mini Vista White. Is it not perfection? I love the Mini Vistas. So I did not grow them a whole lot years ago, but oh my gosh, look at the flower power. They have obviously much smaller blooms than the Vistas or the regular Supertunias, but an abundance of them. So they just keep pushing out these glorious, glorious blooms. And like all of our Supertunias, they are super vigorous. They can trail up to 2 feet. The height can go up at least 12 inches. As you can see here, it's just filling and overflowing this container. They are gorgeous in containers. They're also gorgeous in the ground, in the landscape, and we've got them planted in the landscape in a different section of the gardens, but we'll sure to include some imagery of that. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Our Supertunias can all be grown in part to full sun. I've experimented a bit with that, and they can tolerate some shade. So if you don't have a full sun spot, don't be afraid to try them. They will tolerate it. They will still grow and still be beautiful. But I love the Mini Vistas, and this white is perfection. You're going to want to feed them, especially now. It's July, it's hot, it's steamy, and it's been quite cool here in Michigan. So they're kind of coming out of it, it's almost like a shock to them, right? Because the heat is now here. So lots of fertilizer to combat that, to keep them thriving and just overflowing and beautiful. Our next plant of the day is the Firefly Sunshine yarrow, and this not the perfect depiction of sunshine. It's so happy and cheery. But these are probably the best yarrow that you can grow for lasting summer color. It is a long bloomer, so it's going to hold these gorgeous sunshiny blooms. I love the foliage of yarrow. It almost kind of reminds me of a fern. It's just wispy and airy. I love it. Adds beautiful texture to your gardens. So this is a perennial. It's hardy in zones 3 through 8. It has a really nice upright habit. It grows to be about 2.5 feet tall and just about that same size in width. And it spreads like crazy. So as a perennial, it's obviously going to keep coming back for you year after year, but it will spread beautifully. I love, it's like the cottage perennial gardens, right? Just this whimsy, beautiful space. Just like its name, it loves the sun. It's extremely heat and drought tolerant, so you can really put it in any sunny space and it's going to grow and thrive and bring you all sorts of cheer. Sunshine Firefly Yarrow. Next up, we have the Dolce Spearmint Coral Bells. I love these almost as much as I love hostas, almost. But they bring such gorgeous color to your shade beds. Now you can grow the spearmints in sun or shade. I like them in the shade just because there's not as many plants that grow in the shade. But this is a perennial in zones 3 to 9. It grows to be about a foot tall and it can spread up to 2.5 feet. Keeps pushing out these gorgeous silvery green foliage. And then it has this really pretty stalks that come up with these bright pink blooms. Gorgeous! I am holding this as a quart size that we have available. In my coral bells, I started with the quartz. I planted them in a container in the spring. We did a video on it. And then I transplanted them into the ground. And mine are probably quadruple this size in just one season. So they grow super fast. They fill in beautifully. And I love this green silvery, but I'm telling you, it's all about the pink pop and the blooms. Our next plant of the day is the Bobo Panicle Hydrangea. Panicle hydrangeas are my favorite. If you are also a lover of panicles but you don't have the space, the Bobo is the ticket. It stays nice and tidy and small. It's a dwarf panicle hydrangea, only growing to be about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. As you can tell here, they've just got that perfect round habit. They are a mid to late summer bloomer, but it is covered in those cutie little baby buds. It is going to be booming with these beautiful cone-shaped white blooms that are to die for. Love them. Another easy, panicles are just easy. They're easy to grow, part sun to full sun. If you're in a warm climate, you're gonna wanna give it probably some afternoon shade just to protect it a little bit. Colder climates, like here in Michigan, we can kind of go full sun. As you can tell, these guys are pretty well getting full sun and they love it. With panicles, they bloom on new wood, so pruning doesn't have to be an issue. I have a couple limelights. I hack them down to the ground every year because I'm trying to train them to stay small. But with Bobos, you don't have to worry because they have that beautiful, perfect habit. Perfect hydrangea, especially for beginners. Our next plant is the Pugster Pinker Buddleias. I'm surrounded in a sea of beautiful pink blooms. So the Pinker is actually a newer plant in our Pugster series, and it's compact and small. So it still has these huge, ginormous pink blooms, but it's on a really nice, small dwarf habit. It only grows to be about 2 feet, and it can spread about 2.5 feet. Now, as you can tell, I'm kind of surrounded. Some of these blooms are spent. So really all that you would need to do is come up with your clippers or your scissors and you just snip right off there underneath the bloom. And it'll just keep pushing out those beautiful full size, like a full size buddleia bloom. That's what you're gonna get with the Pinkers. The bees and butterflies will love it. Our next plant of the day is the Supertunia Vista Paradise. This is one of the first Supertunias that I ever grew because I am just so drawn to this vibrant pink color. I love it. So as you can tell, really vigorous grower, just like all of our Vistas are. They just keep popping out this gorgeous blooms. What I love so much about the Supertunias is, you know, we say all the time you don't have to deadhead them, and you truly don't. You can, but you truly don't have to because the blooms are so abundant that it just covers out anything that's spent and it just gives you this lasting, gorgeous color. I love this combination with the Paradise and the white guara and the torchlight coleus behind it. It's got some of that fuchsia in there that just, chef's kiss. Gorgeous grower. It's going to spill over. It can spill up to 2 feet. Supertunias are heavy feeders. Make sure you're giving it consistent water-soluble fertilizer. Your plants will love you. And then you can just sit back and relax and enjoy the beautiful color of the Supertunia vistas. I had to show it to you in the ground as well. Once we walked around and I saw it planted here, doesn't it just pop? It just pops. That's what I love about the Paradise, is you can kind of pair it with any color you want and it's going to be gorgeous. In this bed here, it's got the Mini Vista Midnight and the Mini Vista Yellow. Those are 2 new ones for this year. And then the Paradise and the Citrus Blend Lantana. This is just going to fill up and explode with gorgeous color. That wraps up another Plant of the Day episode. 7 more gorgeous plants for your garden. I hope you saw something that you loved. And I know that it's late in the season. It's like, who plants in July? Lots of people plant in July. You can plant all season long. And actually stay tuned to our channel, because next week we are going to be doing some back to the basics tips on how you can continue to be planting all summer and your plants still thrive. Happy planting!